Good morning. Welcome to worship with the community of Westside Unitarian Universalist Church, where compassion leads us to work for justice and equality. My name is Michael Munoz, and I am your worship leader this morning. I'm glad that you are here joining us for this virtual service today. And it is my hope that this gathering will renew your sense of community and connection and nourish your heart, mind, and spirit. Our interim minister, Reverend Frida Gillespie, will be offering the reflection today for our annual Hanging of the Greens, virtual style. Thank you to our technology team today, producer Spencer Maxwell and assistant Donald Kennard and Janelle or Cindy. At Westside, we are raising the next generation of Unitarian Universalist Church, Universalists, and we want them to know that they are an important part of our community. Several years ago, we chose to adopt multi-generational worship, where our services are radically inclusive and include our children of all ages. Westside is a community of many beliefs, genders, and sexualities, a community of diverse cultural, racial, and class backgrounds, a community of varied abilities and gifts. Some here find inspiration in the great books, others in the great outdoors, and others still in great conversations. Whoever you may be, we welcome you to bring your whole self into this community. On behalf of this church community, I also say to all, welcome. Today's order of service is a PDF. A link was provided via email and will also be posted in the chat for you to download. Most important is simply the opportunity to be present and connect together as the Westside community. So don't worry if you don't have the order of service, we won't leave you behind. As always, please continue to watch your email inbox, the church website, and our Facebook page for updates on church programs and opportunities. You can also stick around after the service ends today if you would like to join our virtual coffee hour. I invite you to take a deep breath. And from wherever you are, settle into the sacred space that we create together each week. Now let us worship together as we listen to this morning's prelude, March from the Nutcracker, Suite by Tchaikovsky.
Good job. For everything, there is a season, a time and a time to be born. With the arrival of winter's low, dark sky, communities around the world look to the miracle of light as a sign of rebirth and a source of hope. We celebrate the promise of new life and recommit ourselves to the protection of everybody's right to his or her own radiant humanity.
flame chalice is a symbol of both heritage of our past and the light of hope within this church today. This morning's chalice words were written by Nancy Reed McKee. Our community knows no boundaries. We are not confined with the physical limits of walls, or for that matter, of what often binds us, restricts us, holds us back. We are freer than we know when we release ourselves and each other from expectations of what is needed for true community. We are here together in space. I see you, I hear you, I love you. And I light this chalice, a beacon of this community, holding us all here now. As the chalice is lit, if you are so moved, you may join Caroline and Tricia in singing 362, Rise Up, O Flame.
Give us just a second. We're having some technical difficulties. Cindy, can you please make me the Zoom meetings host, please? Thank you. Michael, let's maybe just go on to the affirmation if that's all right. We can come back if we
Sure.
can do it in a few minutes.
Okay. Join me in the affirmation, please. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another.
We now ask that all members involved in the new member ceremony to please share your video and unmute yourselves for the ceremony.
Please join our president of the board, Janelle Weaver wanted to be here. She won't be here. Her internet is not working. But our membership committee chair, Pete Metter, is here and is going to welcome new members. It's our first ever virtual new member ceremony.
We welcome the following new members to our congregation, and Reverend Frieda will provide some information about each of them. Sharp Pulliam.
Sharp wrote, I have had a number of different, quote, jobs, unquote, over the years. I certainly haven't put in the 10,000 hours on any one thing that Malcolm Gladwell refers to in Outliers as one of the prerequisites for success. So, Renaissance man or Renaissance dilettante? My BA is from UNT in Denton, Texas, in political theory, minors in philosophy and history. I have an ABD in psychosexual sociopolitical economic theory, minor in philosophy from Binghamton University in SUNY, New York. I currently have a dozen manuscripts started, none finished, that include a graphic comic, several short stories, 2 novels, 2 novellas, 2 novelettes, an inquiry into sexual and family dysfunction, an essay on imaginary beingism, and a treatise on political economy. I hope I can finish at least one, or better, even better, some of these by the time COVID-19 is under control. Now that could be open-ended, he says. yours in Christ, Sharp Pulliam.
Next, Rocio Sarmiento Ayala.
Rocio writes, I am originally from El Salvador and came to the US at the age of 12. I grew up in a Pentecostal and very conservative household. During my undergrad years, I started doubting and rejecting those oppressive and discriminatory values. More than 10 years later, after years of teaching and community organizing and advocacy, I have chosen to become a member of the Westside family. I look forward to raising my little one in such an amazing family.
Jonathan Sarmiento.
My name is Jonathan Sarmiento. I came to the US at the age of 4 years old. I grew up in a Catholic family, but I never felt that I belonged completely. Now that I am a father, I feel the need to raise my daughter in a place that accepts all sorts of people. I firmly believe that our actions should be rooted in love in order to achieve social justice. So Westside is the place I have chosen to continue my spiritual journey. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you to my wife for introducing me to this wonderful community.
Barbara Crotty.
Barbara has been a UU for 36 years. She was raised as an Episcopal and joined the Baha'i faith for several years during high school. Last year, she moved to Fort Worth from Houston, where she was a member of Emerson Unitarian Universalist Church. Barbara has been an environmental geologist and for the last 25 years, a maternal newborn nurse, childbirth educator, and lactation consultant. Her son and his family live in Ryan Place, and she moved here in retirement to be near them. We welcome you all into the life of this church. We are united here in membership and friendship by the bonds of fellowship and service. We strive for a more loving and just world. We are a people who do not pretend to have all the answers, but who covenant together to live by our Unitarian Universalist principles. We welcome you into the life of this church to play and dance and sing with us. We welcome you into our circle of love. May it become more meaningful to you as each day passes. I invite the new members to share this recitation.
We bring to this church our mind and our imaginations, our joys and our sorrows. We bring a commitment to give in love our time, energies, and material support. We bring our respect for the history of our religion and our hopes for the future of our faith. We covenant to walk with you in the living tradition of Unitarian Universalism.
On behalf of the members of the congregation, we welcome you to Westside Unitarian Universalist Church. Your joys and sorrows will now become our own. We recognize your commitment as we have made the same. We recognize our similarities and honor our differences. May each of you find in the church the warmth of friendship, the challenge of ideals, and nourishment for your spiritual and intellectual needs. Together, we will widen our vision, renew our strength, and struggle for justice in this community and in our world. Congratulations to our new members. Upon return to in-person gatherings, you will receive a special chalice pen as well as several hearty handshakes. Thank you for your commitment and welcome again.
Green represents renewal, new life, freshness, and rebirth. Plants such as pine, fir, holly, ivy, and mistletoe are called evergreens because they do not die. Though the seasons of the year, they remain evergreen, ever alive, because the needles of the pine and fir trees appear not to die each season. The ancients saw them as signs of things that last forever. And the circle of the wreath is without end and is realized wherever truth, justice, and peace prevail. Our opening hymn, number 235, Deck the Halls, performed by Linda and Myron Ice. As we watch how we've all been busy hanging the greens at church and in our homes.
blazing Yule before us. Fa la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus. Fa la 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 la. Follow me in merry measure. Fa la 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 la. While I tell of Yuletide treasure. Fa la 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 la. Fast away the old year passes. Fa la 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 la. Hail the new ye lads and lasses. Fa la 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 la. Sing we joyous all together. Fa la 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 la. Heed us of the wind and weather. La 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 la. boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la.
Our time for all ages today is the book Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree.
Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree by Robert Barry. Mr. Willoughby's Christmas tree came by special delivery, full and fresh and glistening green, the biggest tree he had ever. He dashed downstairs to open the door. This was the moment he'd waited for. A magnificent tree, splendid, he cried. Please, sir, won't you carry it right inside? I think it might look best this year, right in the parlor corner here. But once the tree stood in its place, Mr. Willoughby made a terrible face. The tree touched the ceiling, then bent like a bow. Oh, good heavens, he gasped. Something must go. Baxter the butler was called on in haste to chop off the top, though it seemed quite a waste. That's great, Mr. Willoughby cried with glee. Now we can start to trim my tree. When the trimming was well underway, the top was placed on a silver tray. Baxter said, I know just who'd be delighted with this Christmas tree. So it was presented to Miss Adelaide, Mr. Willoughby's upstairs maid. Won't this be a pretty sight when I have trimmed it later tonight? But the top, oh dear, I'm so afraid will have to be cut, sighed Miss Adelaide. And so with scissors, sharp and long, she snipped off the top while she hummed a song. The top was set out the very next day in back of the house to be thrown away. That little treetop caught the eye of Tim, the gardener, passing by. He certainly was not about to see that little tree thrown out. He hurried home straight away to see what Mrs. Tim would say. Ba la la, surprise, surprise. His wife could not believe her eyes. But our house, she said, is so snug and small. I do not believe we need it all. And before Tim had a chance to shout, she cut off the top and threw it out. Barnaby Bear was padding by. It almost hit him in the eye. Now who would throw a tree away so very close to Christmas Day? I'll take it home, that's what I'll do. Look, Mama Bear, I've a present for you. Isn't it a pretty tree? Yawned Barnaby quite drowsily. But Little Bear, standing afar, cried out, That tree won't hold a star. Barnaby said, Let's cut a hunk off the bottom here at the trunk. But Mama Bear just shook her head and sliced the treetop off instead. Jolly by golly, Barnaby said with a kick. Mama, that surely is just the right trick. Let's trim it with bells and honey rings, some berries and tinsel and popcorn on strings. Mama said, Trim it just as you like. I've got to tidy up for the night. This top we won't need anymore. I'll put it just outside the door. Later on that frosty night, Frisky Fox came into sight. He spied the treetop, rubbed his chin, opened his sack, and stuffed the top in. he scampered home and jumped his gate. This Christmas present couldn't wait. It's even better than mincemeat pie, said Mrs. Fox with a happy sigh. Then the foxes saw that their Christmas prize was just a wee bit oversized. There, my dears, don't you worry. I'll fix this top now in a hurry. Benjamin Rabbit found it then, just outside the fox's den. It seems, he thought, most certainly, Santa left that for my family. Look, he cried, see the tree I found? With that he called his family round. Then there was a merry-making, rollicking, frolicking, carrot-shaking celebration around the tree. All were as happy as rabbits can be. Benjamin Rabbit, with his own hand, sliced a carrot and made a stand. Now let's see how this will look in our little chimney nook. But right away, the children cried, "Look, it's leaning off to one side." "It's too tall, that's all," said Mrs. Rabbit. And as though it were a summer carrot, she gave it a chop and threw it away. The top! The Mistletoe Mouse just happened to see that tiny tip of a Christmas tree. He pulled it through the snow and ice. Up some stairs, he fell down twice. At last he reached his cozy house. "It's just the right size," said Mrs. Mouse. Then at the top, if you please, they put a star made out of cheese. Oh, wasn't it grand to have a tree exactly like Mr. Willoughby? The end.
That was great. Today's joys and concerns will be shared by a representative of Pastoral Care Team, Melissa Trask.
As we share our joys with others, those joys are multiplied. When other hearts know our joy shines all the brighter. As we share our concerns, our community can offer its care. When other hearts know our sorrow, our burden becomes lighter. This is the time in our service when we offer witness and support for one another's journeys. Please post in the chat if you have a joy or concern you would like to share with everyone and those who will be watching the recording later. Joys and concerns can be submitted at any time via email to pastoralcare@westsideu.org or through the web form located on the Care and Support page of the church's website. This week's joys and concerns include, so we did get an early submission for a joy, and I'm very happy to say this, from Mark Hart. And he said Emerson Rose Hart was born December 3rd, 2020 at 12:21 p.m. She is 19 3/4 inches long and weighs 7 pounds 5 ounces. And I did get a joy here from Charlie, and he said that he is taking uploads of holiday music, and please see charlieford1.com/music. And it looks like that might be it for today. Just checking here. All right. And thank you for sharing those with us. It is good to share with one another as sharing draws our community closer together. Please know that our pastoral care associates are available to support you with deep listening and, when needed, through our InReach Fund for short-term financial support of members in need. We are here for you.
Thank you, Melissa. As we hold these joys and sorrows in the sacred space of our community, let us sing together Spirit of Life, performed by UU Choir of All Souls in Washington, D.C. Sing, close your eyes, or simply listen as we center.
Continuing in a mood of meditation or prayer, let us enter into a period of silence. We do this so that we may open our hearts in compassion to those in our community who've shared joys and concerns today, or who carry them silently. I will begin and end this minute of silence with the sound of a bell. During this time, you may wish to meditate or pray, or you may simply rest your eyes and let your heart open, sending waves of compassion out to those present this morning. Let our love go out also to those in our greater community and world who suffer in mind, body, or spirit. This is our meditation of shared compassion.
Westside has a long tradition of reaching out to the wider community in generosity. Every Sunday before the pandemic, we gave generously during our offering time, and we were able to provide significant financial support to very worthy organizations. Since going virtual, we have not collected the same generous amount from service participants. We understand that now may be a difficult time for you personally. So by no means will we ever ask you to give until it hurts. We only ask that you give until it feels good. If you are able to share your treasure with us this morning, please consider giving to the Samaritan House Dinner Fund. Westside UU Church has been a valued supper club member at Samaritan House each third Thursday for more than 10 years. Can you believe it's been that long? Westside has a Samaritan House Dinner Fund, which, when we were in person, volunteering provided funds for the meat while the volunteers provided the sides and dessert. The dinner fund was a monthly plate offering during our services on an as-needed basis. During the pandemic, this fund has also been helpful because we cannot volunteer in person or prepare food for the Samaritan House residents from our own kitchens. Since April, the Supper Club volunteers and numerous Westside groups have generously donated the funds needed to secure hot meals for each resident. The completely catered company is providing wonderful suppers at a very reasonable priced $10 per meal, including delivery. We are supplying 45 to 50 residents a meal each month, but could use your help too, because $450 a month starts to add up for the small number of donors who have been giving every month. Please give online, either through the church giving page or by using the Give Plus app. Y'all, the Give Plus app makes it very easy to donate. And in addition to the Samaritan House Dinner Fund, there are other funds options from which to choose. If you decide to mail a check to the church office, please make sure to designate to which fund you desire for your donation to benefit. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for your donation. Also, thank you to all who are continuing to pay toward your pledge for the church year, which keeps our mission going in this time when spiritual community and support is so needed. For all those who wanted to help to participate in winter gear and coat drive, Cindy Fountain will be at the church today from 3:30 to 6 to collect last-minute donations. Please read the Westside Weekly from last Wednesday for details and text her or call her with any questions. Now we will hear an offering of music from our pianist, Dr. Yuki Kumamoto. The morning offering has been most gratefully received. We are blessed by the opportunity to extend our hands to the larger community. And now, before we begin our candlelight litany, I want to thank all of you that participated in the coat drive to help Alliance for Children and OD Aid. If you are able, South Central Alliance of Churches, or SCAC, is accepting Walmart gift cards for any denomination. You can drop them off in the church mailbox on our front porch at any time, and they will be distributed to those in need from an unexpected crisis. Now, everyone involved in the candle litany, please unmute and unmute, please. Please join in our candle litany by repeating, "We are the light of the world," after each reading. Some people say that Jesus is the light of the world. We all can be the light of the world if we seek to act in ways to enlarge the realms of love and justice.
We are the light of the world.
When we share another's pain or offer a comforting ear to a friend in need,
we are the light of the world.
When we give bread to the hungry or support ways to house the homeless,
we are the light of the world.
When we fight temptations to wrongdoing within ourselves and treat our neighbors with respect,
we are the light of the world.
We try to overcome differences with understanding and solve conflict with peaceful means,
we are the light of the world.
When we look for the good in other people and in ourselves,
we are the light of the world.
When we do not stay quiet in the face of prejudice, but speak our minds firmly and gently,
we are the light of the world.
When we fight despair within ourselves and side with hope,
we are the light
of the world.
When we use our powers justly and in the service of love for humanity,
we are the light
of the world.
We are the light of the world. Thank you, candlelighters.
The reading this morning is by Andrea Williams, entitled Why Non-Believers Celebrate Christmas. Christmas time may bring to mind flying reindeer that transport a rotund, bearded man as he delivers gifts to the homes of children around the world. But at its core, the holiday was initially intended to serve a different purpose. As far back as 354 AD, December 25th was set aside to commemorate the birth of Jesus Christ, considered by Christians to be the Lord and Savior. Though the exact date of Jesus' birth is unknown, Christmas has become the most holy day of the year for billions of people around the world annually, celebrating the first coming of their Messiah. But over the course of centuries, the holiday has also encompassed decidedly unreligious themes, including the aforementioned Santa Claus. So in that sense, Christmas has become a holiday of celebration for all. non-Christians included. Here we explore how and why non-believers celebrate Christmas. The first thing, Christmas is the best excuse for a party. Here is our philosophy about the holidays. If there's a party and there's food involved, we want in, says Jen Hancock. Hancock and her family practice humanism, an integration of humanist ethical philosophy with religious rituals and beliefs that center on human needs, interests, and abilities. While they have no specific religious affiliations, the Hancocks love to celebrate Christmas during December, along with Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, solstice, and Saturnalia, an ancient festival held in honor of the Roman god Saturn. My son loves the Hanukkah tradition of lighting candles every year, and yes, we cheat and to use our menorah for Kwanzaa as well, Hancock adds. We have a Saturn figure that's about 3 feet tall. Every year we take him out and cut the bindings on his feet in a little ceremony, and when the season is over, rebind his feet. So yes, our house is very festive with all sorts of decorations of different types. Celebrating Christmas fosters religious tolerance. Even though Alison Riso doesn't believe that Jesus was the Messiah, she still explains the religious history of Christmas. I tell my kids that Christians believe that a man named Jesus was God on earth, and that Christmas celebrates his birth, she explains. I do explain that he was a great man who taught that we should treat one another kindly, and that everyone was worthy of love. And living in an extremely diverse community means that Riso and her children have friends who are Christian, as well as Jewish, Muslim, etc. So she is even willing to attend a church service if invited. I believe that understanding other cultures and religions is the foundation of respect, says Riso. I may not believe in those things, but I deeply respect them and their importance in the lives of those around me. Hancock agrees. By celebrating all of the holidays, we help out our son gain a better understanding of the variety of traditions and beliefs that people hold all over the world. Christmas and Christianity being just one of those traditions, she says. As a result, he's way more aware of religious diversity than your average kid. Christmas celebrates all that's good in the world. Baby Jesus in a manger aside, there's something about Christmas that stirs up feelings of compassion, love, and joy in all of us. And it's no surprise that charitable organizations receive the bulk of their yearly donations during the holidays. Many people of all religions and atheists believe in the awe of human kindness and giving, says Sharon Hicks. They buy presents, sing songs, plan dinners, all to celebrate our human compassion for each other. This is also our family tradition, to celebrate goodwill toward all. Hicks, along with one son and daughter, is an atheist, despite having another daughter who is Buddhist and a grandson whose family is Catholic. It's a lot of potentially conflicting ideas and beliefs that could create enormous conflict, but that's not this case. We all have one thing in common, the golden rule, says Hicks. One should treat others as one would like others to treat oneself. Be kind, be compassionate. That's the rule to live by. And by being compassionate, we become tolerant of the way others believe, because that's what religion is, a belief. You may believe one way and another person may believe another. We can respect that.
I invite you to join me in singing out our closing hymn, Let There Be Peace on Earth. so long as a single light illuminates the world's darkness, there will be joy on earth that empowers our lives.
As we extinguish our chalice and chalices across this country this morning, please join me in our congregational closing. Let us go in peace, believe in peace, and create peace in our lives
and in the world.
May it be so. Blessed be and amen. And for those who are not seeing the chat, the Walmart gift cards will go in the box, not the mailbox. So that ends our service this morning. If you'd like to participate in our virtual coffee hour, please stay on the Zoom meeting and accept the message to place you in a breakout room. You will be placed